Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewired to Inspire. The show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewired to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewired to Inspire. I'm your host, Jessie Brown, and I am pumped up to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 85. I truly hope you guys are all enjoying the last couple days of December. I hope you all enjoyed your holidays. If you celebrated Christmas, I hope you had an amazing Christmas. I hope you're all getting excited and geared up for the new year. 2023 is just around the corner, which is honestly crazy to think about. I feel like we were just ringing in the new year, and here we are again. But nonetheless, I'm so excited. And of course, I felt pulled to share an episode in regards to the new year, because as we know, I'm no stranger to talking about setting goals and personal development and those things, but I realized that it's so important that we have the foundation beneath us before we decide to build upon it. And so what I mean by that is we often set these massive goals and we, have all this momentum in the beginning of January, and then we slowly lose that momentum and it slowly just depreciates over time. And I think the reason for that is because we don't have that solid foundation under us first. And we know that when we don't have that, it's really easy for our building to tumble over, aka our goals. So for today, my goal is to really focus on some things that we need to prioritize and make sure that we have a good hold of before we set these massive goals. Because if we set these massive goals and we're not ready for them, equipped for them, have the belief that we're worthy of them, and some of the other things I'm going to get into, they're likely not going to stick. And when we do that, we set goals and they don't stick, we end up feeling worse than if we hadn't set them in the first place. Because whenever we set a goal and we don't follow through with it, we really do take a hit on our self-worth, because we feel like we've tried to achieve something and we didn't achieve it, and we end up feeling like a failure. When in reality, it's not that you're a failure, it's just that you didn't set yourself up properly to attack that goal. So don't let that be you this year. Don't be like the 40% statistic that ends up leaving a goal or falling off after only 2 weeks, which is crazy to think about. Be able to set yourself up for success is key. And if that means that you don't have to set your goals starting January 1st, that's okay. Because the thing about setting goals is we can set them anytime throughout the year. It doesn't have to just be a new year, new me, time to completely 180 our life. It's anytime throughout the year we're able to recognize where we're at, to pivot that, and to go towards things that are in alignment. Don't just follow society and set the same goals that everybody around you is setting, because I promise you they likely won't stick unless you're doing it for a purpose and a reason beneath that. So for today, some things to prioritize before setting goals. So the other day I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and I'm probably gonna butcher how it's called, but called Stunts. I'm probably saying that wrong. It was the documentary with Jonah Hill interviewing his therapist. And I really resonated with something that his therapist said. He basically said, we all need to have our base first. And that base forms around how we view the world and how we end up interpreting the world. And a large majority of those things that he basically highlighted was your sense of self, your sense of your higher consciousness, your sense of your community. Basically, our hierarchy of needs that we have falls within this. And so the first thing that we need to look at when setting new goals and trying to pivot our life is what is your sense of self? What is your relationship with yourself? Do you know who you are? Do you know who you want to be? Do you know where you want to go? Do you know why you want to go there? Do you know the road in which you have to take to get there? But backing that up even further, do you have the belief that you can actually get there? I'm realizing more and more frequently, one of the biggest differences between quote unquote success and not having success is belief. And if you don't have belief in yourself, you're not going to take action because you don't think you're worthy of it. If you don't believe you're worthy of an outcome, why would you take action? And so the first thing that I want us to be able to establish is your sense of self. How well do you know yourself and your values and your hobbies and your interests, the impact you want to make, if at all any? If you do want to make an impact, what does that look like? What could it look like? What do you dream it could look like? Again, we set these goals that are so short-term and very, very particular. But they're particular in ways that don't actually make us feel good. Instead of saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, why not say, I want to be the type of person that shows up consistently to the gym? There's such a difference there because one is forming an identity, one is more of a statement and an end result. But again, that begins with your sense of self, your relationship with yourself. And a large way that we can focus on that and hone in on that is to establish your values, establish your core values, your core aspirations, and your core beliefs. And again, our beliefs are things that are stemmed in us from our past. Our values are things that we're using in the present and things we believe, and our aspirations are things we aspire for in the future. So what are your values? The second point that is huge before setting any goals, and it kind of piggybacks off a sense of self, is to focus on healing. What is your relationship with your mental health? What is your relationship with how you view the world around you? What is your relationship with how you view your past? I think a lot of times when we embark on these new journeys, a lot of things begin to come up. A lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and a lot of times it's triggers, right? We get triggered by something and it causes us to go off the rails. And oftentimes we don't know that that stems from maybe something in our childhood, something from our past. And so focusing on healing first is huge. This took me almost a year of doing therapy while also focusing on personal development. But to be able to, and I'm never going to say fully heal myself because I think healing is a never-ending journey, but be able to put a lot of chapters of my life behind me so I was able to clear way for the future. And I think this obviously depends on the spectrum in which you want to set your goals. And all of us are very unique. I know for myself, I have massive goals. I am on a global mission. It is not a secret. I will shout it from the rooftop because I'm proud of it. And if we don't hone into the things we believe and the things we're aspiring for, they're likely never going to happen in the first place. So if you believe in something, know that and don't be afraid to shout that. But again, that starts with healing, because I think a lot of times when we, and again, this comes from the belief piece as well, but when we start something and something gets in our way, how do you respond to that? And I think that if you respond by shutting down, that's because there's still a lot of stuff suppressed inside of you. But if you respond by taking action and wanting to get better, and again, this is all comes down to what your relationship is with adversity, what your relationship is with failing and with, falling behind. Do you allow that to knock you down forever, or do you allow that to encourage you to stand back up and to come and fight back stronger? So healing and therapy and validation and just tending to yourself first prior to setting goals is huge, because again, that's where that belief piece is going to come in that you need in order to have that foundation to allow your goals to grow as big as possible. The next one, which again was one from the movie, is your sense of community. And this one can be confusing because I know that my sense of community kind of came and went, and then a different community came, and this one can change. But what is your sense of belonging in the world? And I know that for me, I oftentimes do feel very misunderstood. I don't really resonate with a lot of things. I often feel like the outcast. I often feel alone and isolated. But I'm realizing that that's because I'm unique in my own way, and my own people are going to show up when they're supposed to, and that's okay. But I have to be able to to validate that for myself, to acknowledge that for myself and say, I would rather be by myself than to be around people who make me feel like I'm alone. I'm going to wait to find that awesome community, which I'm now so thankful that I have, which is Next Level University, that is in my corner, that's helping me grow. But what is your sense of community? What is your sense? And again, it doesn't mean that you have to have one. It's just recognizing how you feel when you're around people that you spend the most time with, because we are the sum of the people that we surround ourselves with. And if we're surrounded by people who have really low goals, really low awareness, low self-belief, low values, don't really know where they're going, you're likely going to go in that same pattern. You are in that orbit. So what is your relationship with community, and how does that fit in and resonate with your life? The next one is one that, again, a lot of people set goals with this, but this is something that we honestly have to establish if we want to set goals further outside of this. And that is around health and nutrition and your relationship with food, your relationship with water, your relationship with sleep, your relationship with just how you feel overall, and your worthiness of how you feel about taking care of your body. Again, the new year, and I've said again so many times, I'm just like going off the hop here with just things that I've noticed over the years, and also things that I've done myself, is we set these massive goals to, I'm going to be so healthy in 2023, and I'm going to cut out all this stuff, and I'm going to this, and I'm going to that. And then we get into 2023 and we very quickly fall off. And then because we've fallen off, we're like, well, there's always next year. Establish a routine for yourself before you make it a goal. Establish the belief beneath why you want to do something before you set the goal. Why is it that you value health? Why is it that you value nutrition? How can you begin to form a healthy relationship with that first? It's so common to set a goal of wanting to eat healthy in the new year, which is amazing. We all are definitely malnutritioned. We definitely don't eat enough of the proper foods that we should. And so how can you begin to form a better relationship with that for yourself prior to setting these massive goals, such as losing X amount of pounds, cutting X amount of calories out of my life, upping my fitness by 30 minutes, whatever it is? What is your relationship with that first? Then you can pile on top of that and set goals. But again, the foundation here is really the key. And sleep on top of that. What is your relationship with sleep? How much sleep are you getting? Are you feeling rested at the end of the day? Are you feeling like you're rested when you wake up in the morning? What is your relationship with that? And the last one that I have for you guys of things that we must prioritize before we set goals is your sense of purpose and joy. Again, that comes back down to the who, what, when, where, and why. Who do you believe you are? What do you believe your purpose is? What sparks joy for you? Where do you feel like you belong? Which road are you trying to embark on? Where are you trying to go? Don't just set a goal to set a goal. Set a goal because you're trying to get to a destination. And the route can change is the beautiful part. I've been on a pretty large similar mission, which is personal development. And I didn't know all these amazing areas of my life in which we're going to come into it and ebb and flow. But the thing is if we don't even have somewhat of a destination in which you're going, somewhat of an identity around where you're going, you're often going to feel lost. You're going to feel undervalued. You're going to feel like you're wasting your time. You're going to feel like your belief, if you have that, is dwindling down day by day, because when we don't have somewhat of a result or somewhat of a vision or something to hold on to, we can really begin to lose faith. And so before you go and set these goals, asking yourself, what is your sense of purpose? What do you believe that is? And if you're unsure of that, that's a great place to start. That is why I'm saying to start with these things before you go and write down 50 things you want to accomplish in 2023. Build your foundation. Get to know yourself. If I can leave you with one thing from today's podcast episode, it's to establish your who. Who are you? What do you want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? The what. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? Where? Where do you want to do it? Who do you want to serve? Right? Establishing who, what, when, where, and why. What is beneath that? When do you want to accomplish it by? That's something that we literally learn in kindergarten. Who, what, when, where, and why. And the reason for that is because it's so powerful and it covers all of our bases. It gives us the backbone of why we're doing something, how we're going to do it, and the outcome of that. Why start something if we don't know why we're doing it? How are we going to get somewhere if we don't know how to get there? So I truly hope you guys enjoyed these items, and just remember that it's normal to want to set goals. It's exciting. We want to, push the past year behind us and move on to the next. But I also encourage you to validate the lessons in which you learned in the previous year, how 2022 has served you, because it's gotten you to where you are now. We're so quick to just want to flush out the old and bring in the new, while not honoring for ourselves maybe all the things that we experienced in 2022, maybe some people you've met during this year, maybe some goals you've crushed without even realizing it. Maybe you've fallen off the wagon and 2023 is the year that you get back on and you come up stronger. But don't just hop into 2023 with all this excitement and all this ambition and all this energy and then end up falling off the wagon in early February and feeling crummy for the rest of the year. Let this be the year that you get that foundation solid. Identify your sense of self. Get to know your values. Get to know your hobbies. Get to know yourself and focus on healing. I'm just witnessing so much a world that's just needing to heal, needing to take time for self to validate and to just acknowledge all of our experiences, the good, bad, and the ugly. They all make up who we are, and they all make up pieces of our identity that honestly within that lies our purpose, lies our mission. But it's often beneath all the stuff we've suppressed over the years in which our purpose lies. And we have to be willing to unpack that to get to the greatness. So just know that you're so worthy of that, and know that if you need someone to talk to, feel free to book a free 30-minute call with me. I would love to hop on with you, get to know you, see where you're at, and how I can support you. I'm in training right now to become a coach, and I'm so excited to be able to offer that service into the new year. Again, right now I'm offering to do these sessions for free because I want to build my credibility while also helping you on your journey to get there, because we all hold it within us. It looks different for each of us, but we all have so much unlocked potential buried within our emotions, and I can help you get there. So if that's something that interests you, definitely send me a message and I would love to chat. But nonetheless, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it sparks something within you to not just go and run and set these goals, but to pause and to pivot and to reflect and to get that foundation built first. So thank you guys so much. I hope you're all having an amazing December. I look forward to chatting with you all on Thursday, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. All the love, you guys. Goodbye. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at JessieBrown13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.